This video will demonstrate the setup procedure and operation of the MXTS frame winder. The frame winder is simple and straightforward. It can wind two frames in one operation. Each frame consists of two hold-down bars, two copper wires, and four cap screws. A 5/64 Allen wrench will be required for securing the cap screws onto the frame. A spool of wire will be used on the spool arbor. It's held in with a supplied lock knob and washer. The spool arbor has a retention wire to put pressure on the spool during the winding. A Teflon guide will guide the wire onto a clutch drum. The clutch drum can be adjusted by turning the knob clockwise to tighten the clutch drum, counterclockwise to loosen it. Too much pressure on the clutch drum during the operation and the wire may break. Not enough pressure and the frames might wind with the wires too loose. A wire guide ensures that the wire is brought up to the frame winder in the right location. The frame holder and arbor need to have a lead screw selected. The selection of lead screws will depend on the thickness of the slices. 200 micron thick, 300 micron thick, or 400 micron thick slices are the choices. For this video, I'm going to use the 400 micron thick lead screw. Each bronze nut has a flat that will engage with the latch on the frame winder. The arbor has a lockdown knob, clockwise to tighten it, counterclockwise to loosen it. I'm going to tighten it, insert the lead screw, and attach it to the frame holder. Now that it's all the way in, I'm going to tighten it down, loosen the arbor. Now I can rotate and bring the bronze nut so that flat is horizontal, close the latch, and lock that down. The arbor has a built-in clutch that will only allow rotation in one direction. It prevents back rotation. To override that clutch is a lock knob for use during setup. Now we can turn the arbor both directions. We need the arbor all the way to the left for the winding process. I'm going to bring it back, put it horizontal, and we're ready to load the frames. The frames are secured into the frame holder by two veneer ball plungers, one on the left and one on the right. These ball plungers will engage the detents on the frame. The frames will be installed with the bevel chamfer side down. And they are secured into the frame holder. Now we can install the wire. For this video, I'm going to use a heavy string for a better visual. We'll install the spool onto the arbor and lock it down with the supplied lock knob and washer. Lock this down finger tight. Next, place the wire through the wire guide and around the drum at least 2 revolutions. 1, 2. The wire will then go through the wire guide, passing on the first vertical pin to the left, over the top of the first horizontal pin, to the right side of the second vertical pin, and under the second horizontal pin. Lock down the arbor, bring the wire to the left side of the alignment pin on the frame holder, loosen the lock screw, bring it back around the guide pin, and one time around the lock knob, and secure the lock knob. The heavy string has been replaced with the wire. We are now ready to begin winding the frames. I will release the knob on the arbor and release the lock knob on the arbor. We can now begin winding. Winding too fast may break the wire. If this happens, the whole process needs to be repeated. Continue winding the frame until the wire covers the complete opening of the frame. Stop when the wire has completed the opening of the frame and bring the frame so it's about 30 degrees towards the operator, and lock the arbor. The copper wires will lay into the groove of the hold down bar. Start with the bottom clamp bar. Be careful not to bump the wires. Evenly tighten the screws one at a time. The clamp bar wires have their own stops. Tighten them down till you feel that screw stop. You will notice a bow in the clamp bar, and that's normal. Now we'll do the top clamp bar on this side. Again, try not to bump the wires. At this point, the wire can be broken. Now we'll load the next clamp bar to the lower position. And the final clamp bar. Next, I'm going to use a piece of tape to put across the frame wires at the top of the frame holder. Scotch tape or masking tape could be used. Push that down firmly. And now the wires can be cut. I'm going to use a sharp tool and cut along against the frame. This will remove the excess wires off the frame. Turn the arbor and repeat the process for the other side. Now the frames can be removed. Now that the frames are loaded, we can put them into the accelerator tissue slicer. The tissue slicer accelerator has a lower latch to release the frame holder and a trigger latch that will catch as we raise that accelerator frame against the spring. Pull it up into the latch, make sure it catches it. Keep your hands away at this point and be careful not to bump the trigger. Specimen tray can be easily removed and reinserted back into position. The frames are installed into the frame holder with the bevel side up. Secured with this lock knob. Again, be careful not to bump the trigger during this process. The specimen is loaded on the sample area and reinserted back into position. Hold down the accelerator and release the trigger.